Hey guys, it's Nathara. So as you know, I have a super long list of videos and stuff I want to talk to you about. And I haven't done them because I haven't had the space in my own home to do them for you, and it's been too damn hot in Arizona to do them outside. But now it's November and I'm not even in Arizona anymore. As you can see, there's grass behind me and that's a tree. Check it out! Yes, a tree. So now I can get to starting on this gigantic list I have for you. This is just one of the lists I have. Don't read those topics too closely. They probably won't make any sense to you. But one of the ones that I am going to talk about now-ish, after rambling for like a minute, sorry guys, I saw this article the other day that someone had shared on my timeline. And if you're this person, I'm not like calling you out or anything, but it's this kind of pet peeve I have about this idea of a natural born psychic or a natural born witch or a God-gifted psychic. Like the idea that some of us are super special and we were sent down from the heavens or fucking whatever, and we're more elite than everyone else, and this was like our mission or something to do this. And I mean, you can have whatever beliefs you want, but I completely disagree with that. I think that everyone has like natural aptitudes, but we all have the capacity to learn anything. You know, Michael Jordan probably had a natural aptitude for basketball, but we can all play basketball. I mean, there are basketball games played by people who are paralyzed in wheelchairs. So, I mean, the ability to do so, we might all lack the ability to play in the NBA, but we can all do it adequately, enjoy it, and have a lot of fun. So, I mean, so in that perspective, I think we could all develop our spiritual abilities and become pretty damn good at them and help other people with them, and we can all kind of rock it out. Some of us have a natural aptitude, some of us have a natural disposition due to our upbringing, our environment, the way we grew up, the circumstances that we went through when we were younger or whatever, but we all have that natural talent. So I don't like the idea that some of us can, some of us can't, and like, you know, if you don't have a certain mark on your palm, then you can't read tarot cards. Like, that's bullshit. Like, if you want to do it, just do it and rock it out. Like, it's nonsense. And I think that goes for everything else in the world too. Like, we end up with all these ridiculous rules about who can do what and who can't. And I'm not saying that it isn't harder for some people than other people, because that is a state of reality. Like, some things are just harder, and it is not your fault that things are harder. There's a lot of variables that are not in your control that are going to make things harder or easier for you, and that is life and culture and the way it is for now, unfortunately. And you really have to weigh how much you something versus how hard it's going to be and how much you're going to have to sacrifice. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. It might mean it's not worth it, but it doesn't mean you can't. It might mean it's not reasonable, it's not practical, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. It might take a really freaking long time. It might be super, super hard, and it might be beyond reasonable to ask, but it doesn't make it impossible. So, I mean, there are so many people who were the first person to do this and the first person to do that, and so many other people at that same time period thought that those things were impossible. And yet, here's the first person who did it that proved it wasn't impossible. It was just weird and absurd and ridiculous, but they did it, and now a bunch of us can do it. Like the first woman to get a college degree. She wasn't allowed to enroll in a school, an honorary degree, and because of that, because of her achievements in science, she was able to convince the colleges to allow women in, and so now women can get college degrees. We still have a lot of bias to face, but you know, worlds change. They change slowly, but it happens. So not impossible, but maybe not worth the sacrifice. So let's just be like straight up about that. And if someone says, you know, it's not worth it to me, that's cool. I get it. I mean, it's like, some things are just hard as shit. We get tired. We're not willing to sacrifice. And we don't feel like we can do it on our own, or it's just not worth it. We're not willing to pay the pound of flesh. And that's fine. But, yeah. No, you can do this. You can be psychic, you can read tarot, you can learn numerology, you can speak to the dead, you can do whatever you want, but some things are going to be harder than others. But all you really have to do is be super stubborn and be really, really resourceful. And stubborn. My mother was a Taurus, so very early on I learned the value of raw stubbornness. You can break anyone down if you can out-stubborn them. And by anyone, I mean any person, institution, or organization. So, yeah, so there's, you know, if you're not a natural born psychic, if you're not a God-gifted witch, or whatever nonsense, like, don't even worry about it. You can be anything you want. And when it comes to stuff like psychic gifts and talking to the gods and stuff, you have to remember that this stuff was practiced by indigenous peoples. And not to poo-poo on indigenous peoples, but they didn't exactly have the time to spend 20 years studying astrology in order to get it right. I mean, it's not that complicated. It can be that complicated, and you can absolutely amuse yourself for 20 years studying it, because there is so much nuance to dig into it and stuff. But like, they didn't have books. We have books. They didn't have the internet. We have the internet. I mean, there are resources out there, you know? So like, get creative. If you can't afford a class, go to the library, go on the internet. Self-study is a thing. Talk to your friends, join a support group, get a study buddy, like, just be resourceful and get creative. Like, just comment on this video and ask me for ideas, okay? So yeah, just natural born, it's good marketing. It's good marketing. I'll give you that. Like, there's a lot of people on the sites I work on that say natural born this, that, and they get a lot of traffic, but it's bullshit. We're all natural born whatevers. That's fine, okay? So that's my opinion on natural born psychics or witches or whatever. You don't need a W on your palm. You don't need pluses. You don't need angel wings. You don't need any of that stuff. You don't need an auspicious star in the sky. All the stars are auspicious, and there's always stars in the sky. So don't worry about it, okay? I hope that helps and alleviates some of your fears and worries and doubts. And, you know, just go out there and do your thing, and don't let anyone tell you you can't do something, okay? You totally can. Alright, I'll talk to you later. And like I said, if you have any questions and you don't know how to learn these things, post them in the comments. I have lots of ideas on how you can learn these things, and I'm pretty familiar with the resources that are out there, so just ask. Alright? I'll talk to you later. It's Nathara signing off. I'll talk to you later. I'm going to be back in a minute with another video, so bye.